Good afternoon. Are you planning to write a research proposal? I know the year is ending. Are you planning to write one? If you're planning to write a research proposal, this is very important for you to listen. I'll be talking about three approaches to write a research proposal. In the previous lectures, we talked about what a research proposal is. We talk about the importance of research proposal. If you have not watched this video, please go back and watch those videos. So what are the approaches in writing a research proposal? There could be more approaches, but I just want to tell you three approaches that I have learned. The first approach being the introduction or the introductory approach. The second, the research problem approach, and the third, the topic approach. Let's talk about the introduction approach. The introductory approach, what are you doing exactly? What are the problems with that approach? So in an introductory approach, you are starting to write your proposal from the introduction point of view. You start with your introduction. And what is the problem with this approach? The problem with this approach, the biggest problem with this approach is when you are starting your proposal, you are very unclear of what you want to do. You actually don't know what's out there. You actually don't know what has been studied and what has not been studied. So you still need to go and research. So if you start from this point of view, one thing that you still need to take note of is you are making the introduction a working in progress. In other words, you're still going to come back and again and again. However, there are five steps that you need to follow when you're writing this approach. First of all, you introduce your topic. In that few paragraph, it can be one paragraph, it can be two paragraphs, but mainly an introduction should be one paragraph. So in that one paragraph, you introduce your topic, you describe the background, and it's going to be very difficult for you to describe the background because you don't have much of the understanding of this area. But if you have got the understanding of the background to your topic, then you have got an advantage. Then you establish your research problem, you specify your goals, then you map your research proposal. By mapping research proposal, you're telling us what you're gonna do, what to expect in the coming pages that comes. So these are the five steps that you can follow when you are using the introductory approach. Let's go to the second approach, the problem or the research statement approach. And what are we doing? And what is it all about? First of all, I said this is the best approach to start a research proposal. I like this because it narrows your scope. It narrows your scope, and you can't write a research problem if you have not read enough. So it's a good way to narrow your literature. It's a good way to narrow your study. And a problem statement is an explanation in research that describes the issue that is in need of the study. And having a problem statement allows the reader to quickly understand the purpose and intent of the study. So your supervisor can quickly know what you want to do. Before you even go and review the literature, you even go and do a lot of the scope and the methodology just by giving your supervisor, your reviewer, your chair, your problem statement. He exactly knows whether the study is will carry more value or not, and he or she knows exactly what to expect in the study, and he or she can also tell you the conceptual framework, the theoretical framework that you might need to consider if you like. I know most of them, they won't force you to take a conceptual framework. So it's very important way. It's a best way, one of the best ways to start a research proposal. Right, and when you're doing that, still on the research problem approach. So I'm saying, first thing, you need to start with a goal. And the SMART goals or SMART principle in setting up or formulating goals apply. The specificity of a goal. Who, what, when, where, why, which. That is very important for you to take note of. The measurability. Can you track the progress and measure the outcome of your goal? Attainability. Is it attainable? Is it reasonable enough to be accomplished? Relevancy. Is the goal worthwhile, and will it meet your research needs? Time sensitive. How will you know when to measure your success? So the principle, the SMART principle, applies to your goal whenever you are formulating your main goal or your main aim. The second thing that you also have to do is talk about the present state, or discuss about the present state and how the problem impacts people's life. For example, how it affects people's life. Don't leave that part hanging. We need to know, for example, you want to start about unemployment. Well, how is the unemployment impacting people's life? Drug abuse, how is it impacting people's life? It's very important for you to do that. The second thing that you need to do, tell us about what has been previously studied. Most students, they leave that part. You need to tell us what's out there, what has been studied out there. It's very important for the one reason. By telling us what has been studied there, you are opening an opportunity for you to identify the knowledge gaps, which is very important. We need to identify the knowledge gaps so that we can focus our study. And our problem statement now becomes a solution to these gaps. So do you see how important it is to identify the gaps? Because we want to use the problem statement as a proposed solution to the gap that we have identified in literature. So a good problem will also lay out the repercussion of leaving the problem as it stands. If we don't address the problem of unemployment, what will happen? What is the significance of not addressing the problem? What is the significance of not addressing unemployment in the country? What are the future possible outcomes? What will happen to our kids? What will happen to our kids if we don't address the problem of poor literacy rate in the country? What is going to happen to our kids? So it's very important for you to address that part. Don't leave that hanging. We want to know, because that will on its own justify your justification. That will act as justification also to your study. Then I know most people, they talk of cheat sheet in IA and data science, but we have got also a cheat sheet in research, in formulating a research problem. So first, what are we saying? Begin with a clear indication that the problem is going to be discussed next. Then you can start with a generic sentence like, the problem that this study addresses. The problem that this study addresses is unemployment in the country, for example. Is malnutrition in low income households. So state exactly what the problem is about in your first line. Don't waste time to go and review the literature here. We don't want you to review the literature here. We want you to tell us about the problem that have made you to go out there and what you need to do next. The next thing, mention the consequences of not solving the problem. If we don't solve the problem of unemployment, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to our kids? What's going to happen to us? If we don't solve the problem of malnutrition, what's going to happen to the future generation? So you need immediately to go and tell us what's going to happen if we ignore the problem that is affecting the communities. Then yes, you end on to conclude indicating the type of researches that is needed to solve the problem. You see, you are actually drawing your study. You're actually inviting your study. You are making your study relevant by inviting, or by telling us the type of research that is needed. If there are also some scholars that are supporting that type of research, you need to make sure that you reference all those scholars as well. This will then directly lead to your proposed research objective. Yes. From there, you move to your objective. Immediately, when you tell us about your problem, we want you to state your primary objective, or your goal, or your primary aim. Why are you going out there to do? So yes, go and read more about cheat sheet on for research problems. You find more on internet. Let's talk about the topic approach. I like topic approach because this is one of the easiest method that the novice those who are starting to, who are joining their master's level can use the topic approach. It's one of the most beneficial approach, especially if you don't know anything about research. If you take it from the topic approach, you're gonna see that you grow so quick and so fast. So what are we doing here? Start from the background of your topic. That's where you start. Then you move to the research problem, then you move to the research statement, then you go to your aims and objectives, the scopes, etc. as you go. Okay, so what are the advantages of the topic approach? So the first advantage of the topic approach is you first position your study within a specific context, which is very important. So if it is literacy, you first position that problem within, for example, the international community, then you go to the regional. You actually broaden your understanding of the problem by doing that, and you increase the chances of hitting the bull's by its eye, getting things done the first time. Most of the students, they go up and down. It's email after email between you and your supervisor, because you are not sure of what you want to study. You are not clear of what you want to do. So the only way for you to have a clear objective, to have a clear problem statement, is by you reading widely, understanding the problem from the topic perspective. Then you narrow it down to your research problem. It's like you are starting from this topic. It's the same as starting from a general. If you remember the triangle, you are starting from a general perspective and you are going to a particular. So that's going to be deductive to inductive. And when you are talking about the research problem, you are starting from the inductive. You are starting from a very narrow end to a general end. So you are starting from an inductive perspective to deductive perspective. So it's very important for you to know all those skills or those approaches whenever you intend to do your literature review. I hope you have enjoyed. You have enjoyed. Please like this video and share with friends. Thank you.